Susie, thank you for being here. Good to have this conversation. Before we talk about long COVID and what your life was like when with long COVID, I kind of want you to set the scene, like rewind. Who was Susie before long COVID? Just describe a day in the life, what your energy was like, what your life looked like.
Thank you for having me, first off. I lived a voracious life. I was multitasking, single mother who could do it all. I was on a ski patrol. I was really able to do anything without thinking about it. I had the capacity to be able to handle whatever curveballs were thrown at me and just to be able to live.
Sort of moving the timeline forward a little bit, not yet to the present, but at its peak of misery, and I know that's a fair word to use describing life with long COVID. Describe the symptoms that you experienced, the limits to that energy, the person that you became.
In the throes of the acute stage of the virus, I was really dealing with over 30 different symptoms. And that kind of morphed into a really big fatigue that I was sort of able to get over. But what hit me really hard was the cognitive dysfunction. I just couldn't trust my own brain, my own instincts or anything to do with thinking. So it was very worrisome being in a conversation and forgetting words, and trying to be able to communicate with people can be difficult.
I know you've gone through a grieving process and you've sort of made peace. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but as I understand it, you've done your grieving about what doesn't feel like it's part of your life anymore, and chosen to find things that make you hopeful. What makes you hopeful?
I think that having long COVID is a real grieving process, and that there's so much loss associated with every aspect of your life. It can be really depressing, and without really grieving the things that you've lost, it's hard to sort of get onto a path where there is hope. And for me, I think it's really important to understand that there's a huge, and I can't find the word that I'm looking for right now. Spectrum, thank you. There's a huge spectrum with long COVID, and that there's so many people that are really debilitated and bedbound. But I'm fortunate enough that I've had a return to health, that I can live my life. I've chosen to, although I still deal with many issues, I've chosen to accept them and just live the life that I can with what's been dealt with me. I have all kinds of strategies that I've implemented to be able to help myself. But it's all taken time, and a lot of work at getting help from occupational therapists and physiotherapists, and trying to understand what it is that you need and how to implement the strategies in your life.
What's been helpful for you, both in terms of establishing those coping strategies and just in keeping your hopes up and your sense of moving forward? What's been most helpful for you?
I think one of the most important things is to have a community around you that's very supportive and understanding. So many people are losing friendships and family relationships, and there's that type of loss as well. But I think that being in a community of understanding, people, such as the support group that we...
You created an online support group for people with long COVID, with now has 20,000 something members.
20,000 members, yes. We also have a non-for-profit that we've just started up as well.
Tell me what makes you most proud of doing that.
I think the most proud thing is that we've all come together to support one another. I just think it's amazing how people in the deepest despair of their life, are in such turmoil and don't know where to go, and then they find this community, and it's an epiphano moment for them that they, just realize that they feel understood, and that everything's going to be, it's really a load off of their chest. So I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of the group for being such a compassionate place for people to understand and support one another.
I totally get you on the need to feel understood and how easy it is to be misunderstood. So few medical professionals really understand long COVID. Tell me about the value for you in your experience of Dr. Kieran Quinn and the research that he's doing and how he's been able to support you and what you're going through, even from that perspective, from the perspective of understanding and leading research.
Well, you're absolutely right. I believe that the hope for the community in general is in the research. It's, people, I don't think people really understand how much research is happening at Mach speed. And with people like Kieran, who is completely dedicated to long COVID, and Angela Chung, we have such a wonderful group of Canadian researchers that are really working hard at getting trials to come to, and really working hard to find a solution. So with people that are so dedicated like this, and with the speed at which research is moving now, this is what I find that is really most hopeful.
How does that make you feel, knowing that that's happening?
I feel amazed that so many people are getting involved. I think the Long COVID Web has over 700 or 1,000 members now. I mean, this just started out as a board of, I think, about 30 people at the beginning. And so it's just amazing how many people this is gathering along the way. Hang in there, and I see so much desperation in the group, which is really disheartening. There are people that are in really, severe situations, and they've lost their jobs, they've lost their homes. It's dire, but we want everyone to know that there is hope, and it's on the horizon. So with researchers like Kieran Quinn, we can be rest assured that help will be on the way.
Susie, it's so great to see you doing so well, especially as you've, given all you've been through, and that you're feeling hopeful. Thank you so much for the talk today.
Great. Thanks for having me, Jill.